Creator consciousness. Everyone wants to express themselves at their absolute fullest potential. Leading into 2021, we want to architect a more abundant and prosperous future for everyone. Let's break down the steps at how to most efficiently achieve said goal. The first and most important thing to take away from this is that this is not spiritual woo. This is scientifically, empirically validated. That the psychological literature is extremely clear. That the more that you hone in on future authoring, achieving some sort of divine, noble, transcendent aim, that the healthier, happier, and more fulfilled, the more meaning you'll find every single day. And this is the exact opposite of victim consciousness. This is the exact polar opposite. Every day to re-baseline ourselves more and more like we're working out away from victim consciousness and more towards this creator consciousness. That my simple thinking around wanting to manifest a more abundant and prosperous future is enough to slowly work my way into a more healthy well-being on a day-to-day basis, on a very pragmatic, scientific level, decreasing your cortisol, increasing your states of causeless joy, an imperturbable peace, cellular equanimity. This is paramount for 2021 and beyond for creator consciousness to really anchor itself in our society, for it to achieve its fullest potential. Especially as we experience more and more of the desacralization of our lives due to what appears to be a very modern economic machinery that's treating people like they're just cogs in some sort of a machine that doesn't respect their sovereignty, doesn't respect their freedom, it doesn't respect their artistic, divine, noble, transcendent North Star and purpose that they are divinely here to do. We must take a step back from that. We must divinely pursue truth. We must divinely pursue our North Star with the same amount of vigor that we pursue breathing. The same amount that you want to breathe your next inhale, you should want to achieve your most divine, fullest potential in the world. So take a step back and recalibrate and figure out how to future author that for yourself. And this is why there is such a massive proliferation of the quote self-help gurus and coaches in modernity, especially. There is a victim consciousness that doesn't know how to actualize a transcendent noble aim, and so it identifies a creator consciousness, and then it goes to its guru teachings or coachings, seminars, and obtains said wisdoms, and then rebaselines itself, doing the reps, doing the workout away from victim consciousness towards creator consciousness. These people are very important and they deeply serve the dissemination of creator consciousness awakening to other people that are in a more contracted state of being that need to express themselves as the gods that they are, and that they pierce that veil and recognize that and then unleash themselves. So the scientific validation is critical. And it's a beautiful place where spirituality and science synthesize. All right, the manifestation mechanics, number 2. What is a good protocol for parsing to find what you think is a good amount of signal around creator consciousness? Well, whatever makes you feel more sovereign, more like the supreme divine authority that you are, as well as freedom from moment to moment. Whatever makes you feel less suffering, less pain, less depression, and more sovereignty, and more freedom, and more well-being, and more prosperity, and more abundance, that is signal. Follow that signal. Seek that signal like it's your full-time job. Take it in. Take it in. Have it become you. Have creator consciousness sit in your soul in order for manifestation mechanics to fully be optimized. And this means for those that are experiencing these deep, profound states of suffering and pain and depression and anxiety and turmoils of all sorts, learn that the reason why you are experiencing that is because you are in a contracted state of being. You do not recognize your own infinitude. You do not recognize your own godness. And because of that, what's happening is you're in a contracted state in a limited perspective. And so in order to get yourself out of that contracted state, out of that limited perspective, you have to do these reps in order to become a manifestation machine, in order to have creator consciousness in 2021 and beyond. So these reps are doing things like actualizing the pause. The pause is one of the largest, most important perennial spiritual wisdoms across the entire planet in meditation. You have to create a pause. Use the mechanism of your breath to create a pause. If you're depressed, if you're contracted, use the breath. Gather another perspective. Gather a perspective about health, about prosperity, about goodness, about things that serve you rather than things that don't, that negativity. So you can catch yourself moving from moment to moment into a depressive state, create a pause, and redirect your attention and focus to something that's positive, that serves you. And that's what's going to enable you to manifest. That right there is manifestation. That pause and then manifesting positivity instead of negativity is a really critical repetition towards manifestation, towards the mechanics that are going to enable you to achieve even more divine transcendent North Stars. And that's what is God consciousness versus limited enslavement, that tiny perspective of suffering and depression versus the full unleashing of your divine godness into the world. You are here to do that. You are here to express yourself as God, as the infinitude that we are. You are not here to live in a contracted, depressed, and deprived state of being, although that suffering serves us as a drill sergeant to awakening. And that's the bliss, the peace, the eternity, the infinity that await us when we anchor those manifestation mechanics on a moment-to-moment basis with creator consciousness. Ooh, how good does it feel every day, every moment to be coming from that place of one infinite creator expressing itself and you being that. You are that. We are that. And to know that on a moment-to-moment basis is bliss. It is peace. It is love. The recognition that we share that one infinite creator. All right. So you may also wonder, okay, so sure, now we have the scientific validation down, we have these manifestation mechanics down, so what would this North Star be? Well, there are really good places to start. First of all, exposure. We need, as conscious parents, to expose children to the massive buffet of options. And then we have to do this Montessori style method where we follow the child's interests, because that is what's going to give us the most clear signal of what their North Star truly is. And typically we want to understand that the more that we provide a North Star to civilization that is in value to Civ, providing value, being STO, which means service to other, less service to self-dealing. I want more for myself, conspicuous consumption, materialism, sex, drugs, all of those more primal, versus the more service to other, the more godlike, moral, highest that we channel through us into the world, which inevitably brings us more flourishing, well-being, prosperity, everything, by being in service to others. Another way to view it is SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. We want to eradicate poverty. We want to eradicate suffering. We want to provide people around the world with quality education, especially regarding self-realization as well as self-actualization. We want to provide people with clean water and sanitation. We want to provide people with affordable and clean energy. We want to keep a very healthy, sustainable, growing pie for everyone around the planet. So the SDGs are a really great place to look as well. In general, we want to remove the molasses. We want to remove the friction. We want to meet the basic needs of people worldwide to enable everyone to actualize their fullest potential. And we have to undergo this process of making those incremental steps, because manifestation works optimally when we architect the next steps. But we have to have no attachment in that process. So that's the thing with these manifestation mechanics with your North Star. You absolutely have to do some future authoring regarding, okay, so what I'm feeling today is I'm feeling like I want to create this creator consciousness video. And so I actually had to go through the process of writing out these points, these 4 points, and writing out the key sub-points. And I had to undergo this process. And it took me a while to do this today to get ready to do this stream. But I can't just say, I want to make a video on creator consciousness and then just undergo a process of watching Netflix. Bruh, that's not how manifestation mechanics work. Manifestation mechanics work when you actually take the next steps that are needed on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, and year-to-year basis to get to those defined, transcendent, noble aim North Stars. But we don't have attachment. We're very flexible on the journey. That flexibility is a lot like a Bayesian cloud of probabilities that exist in this tree of possibility towards that North Star, which we write about in high-level perception. So no attachment, yet having future authoring and architecting that step by step. And number 4, wisdom. This is critical. This is happening around the planet to so many people that are experiencing creator levels of consciousness. Is what happens is egoic levels of consciousness end up creeping into your psyche and pulling you down. So we have to, keyword here, keyword under wisdom is the word grace. We have to gracefully separate ourselves from people who don't serve the highest. And this means family. You're going to have family that's 25, sometimes 30 years older than you. And their consciousness is just a lot more constricted at times, especially when they're not a conscious parent. And what's going to happen is, if they've never tasted non-duality, if they've never tasted the unity of all being in existence, if they've never tasted the infinity, if they've never even tasted the pause in meditation, and they're just a reactive monkey mind creature to their external world, they have victim consciousness, no creator consciousness, you have to distance yourself. You have to create that separation. Same goes for your friends. The same goes for your coworkers. The same goes for people on the internet. Hurt people hurt other people. That's why every single internet comment that you see that's bullying someone else is from someone else that is hurt. And they see you in a state of flourishing, and they're trying to pull you down. Separate yourself. Gracefully separate yourself. Create the pause. Again, the space. See that analogy? It's beautiful. You create that pause, that space, and then you continue architecting and undergoing this divine transcendent North Star and the manifestation mechanics and creator consciousness that entails this process. And over time, what happens is naturally, you are going to attract both co-creators that are manifestors themselves, as well as co-creators that have undergone non-dual awareness. And it's really going to accelerate your creator consciousness to the next level to surround yourself with those co-creators. But you have to create that space. You have to gracefully separate yourself, to create enough space for you to have new co-creators that come into your life that have experienced non-duality, that have experienced the manifestation mechanics around the creator consciousness. And this is where we're going. We're heading towards an enlightened civilization as our North Star collectively. And this means clean and pure mirrors of the one infinite creator. This means that we recognize the fact that we have a state of non-dual awareness. We've recognized our infinitude. We've recognized the fact that our awareness is collectively shared. And we've peeled back those onion layers of identity away from all of the insane associations that we've taken on with that separate self-consciousness. And we've identified ourselves as God, as that shared God, as that shared source, and that it's expressing itself. And that we recognize that we have a unique expression to bring of that God, of that source. And we're all acting as divine mirrors for one another that are clean mirrors. We are acting towards the acceleration of each other's fullest artistic expression, fullest true self-realization and self-actualization. That is what an enlightened civilization is. That is where we can go with our creator consciousness in 2021 and beyond. But we have to truly communicate the profundity of the scientific literature, the eradication of suffering, the development of that meditative pause that enables us to have the manifestation mechanics towards something that's more positive, something that's more divine and transcendent, towards that North Star. Make those North Stars around tackling some of the biggest challenges on the planet, bringing value to civilization's awakening. And then wisely, we'll draw more and more of the co-creators into our lives and distance ourselves more and more from consciousness that is not in service to that. And then we'll uplift the rising tide. We'll lift all boats towards that enlightened civilization of the one infinite creator fully expressing itself through us. We are God. We are source, expressing itself eternally, infinitely. We've been doing it. We're going to keep doing it. Wake up to that faster. Get yourself out of the suffering. into a state of being, a godlike being that you are. I love you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on creator consciousness and the mechanics that go into this process, where you're at. Let me know. I'd love to help out. Like the video, share the video with other people, subscribe if you haven't, get other people around the world more excited about creator consciousness in 2021 and beyond, architecting that more beautiful, abundant, prosperous future that we all know is possible. And go and do that. Do those next steps. Make 2021 that such a beautiful, exceptional year for you and for all of us. Adore you. Thank you for being here, fam. Love you. Talk to you soon.